Rudy is the best.
Name dropping.
I love Rudy. Good Rudy. Chris
We
Hemme.
should talk about name dropping too.
Hemsworth. Name dropping turns me off.
Yes, it does.
That's one of the things I would want to talk about in this episode is being the genuine person.
But so your response?
Cut that out. Yeah. I don't know what you didn't ask a question, but
Yeah,
my
I'm gonna
response
ask
is
a question.
yeah, correct. Great job. You have pinned it. We
Well, welcome back to the Indie Film Hub podcast. I'm Rhodes, your host. Hopefully you guys are driving safe. If you're listening to it in the car, I listen to podcasts in the car. I don't know if everyone does, but
when I'm forced to drive to Spartanburg in the morning during rush hour, today, I do listen to podcasts.
But yeah, today is episode 10.
Woo! I got the double digits episode. I feel honored.
I feel, yeah.
Or pre-depressed.
I think Silas was 9.
If you're wrong.
Evan was 8.
I would love to beat out Silas.
And you're number 10.
Because I feel like today's conversation really plays into that, you know.
Well, that's just, it's a marker of our podcast today. So this is a very special moment. Anyways, hi, Brian.
Hi.
Tell us a little bit about who you are.
I fake it until I make it.
That is the topic of our discussion today.
I'm a faker.
But who are you? How are you here today?
As you said before we started rolling, you accused me of being an incredible faker.
A master faker.
A master faker. I am. I have a small media company in town. Very small. It's just me. And I have a very small background in film and cameras, to be honest, which is wonderful that I'm part of this conversation because I am one of the, and it's funny, it's easy because, you know, we go to Film Bar and we're part of this community with 1,400 people and, you know, everybody's, like I was saying about Silas, you look at guys like Silas, like they're on, you know, this pillar of, oh, wow, they're so good at what they do. And I'm like, well, I'm not on that. You know, sometimes you really do feel like the faker, but I actually do make it. Like my wife and I do pay all the bills and do have insurance, bad insurance, and pay the mortgage, you know, and we got 2 kids and we have a house and we make it on video alone. So, you know, I'm nowhere near where I want to be, but technically have arrived.
Yeah.
You know. So it's funny because you that comparison thing's a real issue, but
well, I would say that the comparison that you're bringing up there is one is, you know, cinematographer. I think we're all filmmakers, but one, the cinematographer is a person like striving to do narrative work or stuff like that, and then the videographer is kind of the commercial documentary small business kind of video.
And I'm both because one's really fun and one makes money.
Yes. Yeah. No, we do. Yeah, we start off doing weddings and trash videos so that we can pay for our creative aspects.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we're both kind of in a very similar boat. We both have our LLCs, our businesses, and we're both, you know, making it. So fake it till you make it is like kind of a inclusion in the filmmaking world, probably lots of other worlds too, but how have you kind of done that same aspect? Because I know I've done it for sure.
I mean, I think faking is I get the concept because like what we're trying to communicate, you know, it fits, but I wouldn't say that I fake. I would say that I take risks.
Yeah.
You know, because I think it's really dangerous to do something that you are not 100% sure you can do for somebody that it matters to. Because for you, it really doesn't matter. It's like if you fail, well, you'll figure it out. You know, you might lose whatever. For them, if it's a client especially, they're going to lose money. That's not really fair. So it's more like, I think I can do that. I'm pretty sure I can do that. I'm not so ignorant that I'm completely wrong. I can do this. And so I took safe-ish risks at the beginning. For instance, when I first started in this industry as an editor, it's because I told a guy I had been holding a microphone for, right? Just a mule basically. And he did weddings. And I saw his wedding videos and I said, I can do that. I said, can I do that? I will save you money by if you give me these files, I'll edit this for you. And if you don't like it, you don't owe me anything. If you do like it, pay me $100. $100 is nothing for a wedding video edit, right? And he laughed and he was like, yeah, there's nothing, he can't lose, right? So my risk was looking like an idiot. It wasn't wasting his time and money. And sure enough, I edited it. Probably with like a pirated version of some kind of editor. He sent me back a very extensive list of mistakes, which I did one more pass and fixed them, and then sent him to him, and he sent me $100. And I saw the final thing. All he did was change, because he's probably gonna tweak things. He just went in and changed some music. That's it. So, and that's how I knew all of a sudden. I took this risk, looked like an idiot, but the risk was almost relational as well. But I didn't fake it in that sense. I just put myself out there into a vulnerable place on something I was pretty confident I could do. And I could, because I just knew I was a storyteller and I could do that. So then all of a sudden, boom, I was an editor and I got a job later that year. I quit the job I was working later that year and ended up making more money as an editor for a dude because I now had experience, because he saw the work and he was like, oh, I guess you can edit weddings.
Yeah. How do you get that first experience? I mean, you just got to either take a risk or gamble on, or try to keep that risk as low as possible, or just know somebody. Like I just first AC'd for the first time, and I was pretty straightforward. I was like, yeah, I want to learn first AC, but I haven't done it.
Yeah.
But they knew me. They knew I was competent. They knew the project, and it was not a lot of focus pooling. It was a lot of stationary shots and stuff like that. So it was a really easy one to kind of jump into that that opportunity. But I mean, no one else knew I hadn't really done it before on set.
Right, I did the same thing.
Yeah.
I was just second AC and then took over at the end of the day when the first AC had to leave. And it's like, I was nervous, which is stupid, because you and I have had our hands on a camera for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you did it in college. And it feels like faking it, but it's just more of a minor risk, because we could both pull focus, for heaven's flippin' sake.
Yeah.
But I just never officially did in that capacity. So I got lucky because I kind of watched this dude do it all day, and then I was like, oh, I can totally do that. So I'm like shaking because I'm like, oh, I'm finally pulling focus. And I'm like, why am I shaking, dude? You can pull focus. Watch this. Freaking amazing. Like, we can do this. Yeah. So I think, like you said something really important there, which was relational.
Yeah.
Without that piece, you don't get that opportunity.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty of these film bar short films. It's like, unless it's a paid thing, if it's these short films you're doing with your friends, like, what have you got to lose? What have they got to lose? All they've got is, this guy sucks at AC. Okay. Is anybody else on site that can pull focus? None of you getting paid. Someone just pull focus. Like, it's a little embarrassing.
The other part of connections, I think, that I found, at least as of late, having everyone in Film Bar that we know. I'm sorry we keep bringing up Film Bar. We have a pretty strong community here. Hopefully you guys can find some community wherever you're at as well. If not, start it. If you need to reach out to me about how to do that, let me know, because I'm very passionate about that. But I can go to a client and say, I can do whatever you need, because I know everybody that has my back.
Yes.
So even if I can't do it, I can at least be the producer of it or something like that, and find the person that can.
And that's the beauty.
And then it looks on me. Looks good on me. Yeah.
And that's the beauty behind Scenic Roads Productions and Fannin Media. Someone's like, oh, you own a media company. Ooh. And I'm like, no, it's me sitting in an office. But I know how to call Rhodes. Yeah. And I know how to call Jeffrey. And I know, and I think that's the coolest thing about film is it takes a team. Like dude, I've tried the one-man band thing. What a pain in the butt.
It's not, I don't think video is supposed to be a solo career. No. You can do some things, but really.
You can't do any of it well. And if you do, like for interviews and things like that, sometimes I'll do that. I'll go by myself. It takes forever, and you feel rushed by the end of it. And even if you get a quality product, you're like, whew, that was a pain. Like, I stopped doing it for weddings. I used to have a package for wedding. I'm not doing weddings anymore. Nobody hire me anymore. I got my last 2 weddings this fall, and I'm just going to be done. I had a package that was like 3 cameras, ceremony type thing. And I had someone hire me to do that. And I was like, this is awful. You can't do this. Yeah. And it worked, but just because it worked doesn't mean it's a great idea. So I actually shut it down. I'm like, no, if you want your ceremony filmed, then you have to buy the big package. because I will bring another person.
Yeah.
And that's always worked because now I'm paying a friend. I'm not bored all day alone. I got a friend. We're making more money, and they're getting a better product.
So you can fake it by, finding someone you trust and getting on to a role that you haven't done before, but they'll kind of coach you and help you, or
That's good.
vice versa. You've got other people that you can bring on that know to do the part. You can also fake it by just gambling and just putting a risk out there. So we've got 3 different ways of like faking it till you make it, where you're just not the prepared person or the expert in that field or whatever. So, and I think that's prevalent throughout all the videography filmmaking world, is just kind of pulling those 3 chords constantly.
Yeah, and the funny thing is it's all subjective.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to mention his name, but there's a guy in our industry that I was on that I was shooting with recently. And this person is really good. And they seem really good, really confident. They make good money, and they're very competent. And then all of a sudden they said something the other day when we were shooting, they're like, about the quality of their work, not, and people weren't hiring, da 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 da. And I was like, oh, they think they're faking it till they make it.
On every level. Yeah.
But they're not. Absolutely. They have bona fide objective proof that they are fantastic, know their gear, have been in the industry for years, have an incredible reel, been on set with all sorts of folks. They're one of the most professional people I've worked with in town, if not the most professional. And here they are thinking that they're still faking it until they're making it. And so that's part of the thing. It's like, just because, that's that risk. It's like, do I have enough confidence in me to go, I know I can edit a wedding. Have I ever done it? No, but I'm pretty sure I can do that.
Yeah.
And knowing that that's not faking it. That's I don't know what it is. Believe in yourself. I don't know.
That's actually my next thing. There's
segued.
Some main skills that can really get you really far in this world, no matter your skill experience, but one that you are not asinine about it, but confident in yourself.
Yes.
Confidence.
Yes.
And then just people skills and troubleshooting skills. If you've got common sense and you can troubleshoot an issue and you can talk to people, those are all like business things you need more so than video skills. You can get yourself a lot farther along than just being a damn good sound operator, boom operator.
It's true. I had he's a friend and an employer at one point, but now he's a multimillionaire, owns a electrical company. He told me once, he said, anybody can come. He had a bunch of people that came up to him, employees that were like, we have problems. And they were legit important problems. And so he told me about them, and I was like, why is he so frustrated with his employees? Those are good problems to bring to an employer. And he said, I had 4 or 5 problems come to me today. Not one of them brought me a solution. He said, any idiot can come up with a problem. We're all picky. We're all judgmental. We all think we're smart. Anybody can come up with a problem. I just wanted one of those guys to come up with a potential solution. But they came to the boss expecting, solutions. And I think that's part of being on set. It's like you said, what did you say? Those 2 things you said, problem solver?
Yeah,
troubleshooter. Yeah, it's like, at some point, maybe you just shouldn't break the $30,000 camera because you're trying to like fake it until you make it. But like, if you got 2 seconds to pull out your phone, and there have been so many times I'm on set and people aren't paying attention. I'm like, 10-1, I gotta go to the bathroom. And I'm like, like, where is this setting in the camera? Like, no, I'm not kidding you. I've done this multiple times because it's not, and it's not like and part of it is, I admit, trying to save face. I don't want to be embarrassed. But the bigger part is, you want to be helpful. You don't want to be another problem to waste their time, the director's time on set, when you could just Google it. Yeah. Figure it out.
How to connect hair dye.
Yes, because I have a job. I used to work for the Kroc Center. I was the technical director of a $5 million building with 0 experience. Why? Because when I went into that conversation, first of all, she liked me. There's your relational piece. Second of all, I convinced her. I was like, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, but I promise you, I'm the type of guy that'll figure it out. Yeah. And she liked me enough personality-wise. She was like, I don't have anybody else in docket. There's not a lot of people that just know how to run a technical, it's not like they didn't have they didn't have the paycheck to pay somebody who really was a true expert. And so here's some guy that's like, I promise you I'll figure it out. And so she hired me.
I actually heard, I think it might have been TikTok, but some guy that was an employer said, yes, we put requirements on applications that don't make sense or are too far for entry level or whatever, so that we can narrow down the applicants, that if someone sees a wall in front of them, that doesn't stop them.
That's good.
That they apply even though they don't meet all the requirements.
Wow.
Because they know they'll learn the skills on the job.
Yeah.
They just need the ability to move through a problem, the competence and the people skills and all those basic things. And I think that's a lesson to learn with any kind of application or job like that. And then the second thing is having someone vouching for you. If you can get an introductory email or someone to just give you a vouch in any way, shape, or form, I mean,
that's good.
No, he doesn't know that's what happened on this set. No, he doesn't know this, but I trust him.
Yeah. Well, and that's funny because that's something I've done is I've been a reference for people is I will not give a fake reference because someone's a friend.
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, give me a reference." I'm like, "I'm not, you don't want me to because I don't think you're good enough for the job." But I'd give somebody a good reference even if they're not good for the job if they're somebody like that. I've said that before. Hey, this is a friend of mine. He wants to work for you. Let me warn you. I don't think he has the experience. Let me encourage you. I think he'll get it. Like he's trustworthy. He'll show up on time. He's eager. He's humble, which means he'll ask questions. And that's another thing is like, it's okay to be stupid on set. You just have to be genuine about it.
Yeah.
I just said it the other day to what I was working on James's short film, and I said to the assistant director, I asked her a question. I was like, clearly in my position, I should know how to answer that question. And I was like, I don't know how this works, and I'd really love to learn.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden she realized, oh, I'm in a position to disciple this guy. So now she's teaching me all day. And if I'm humble enough to receive it, even the things that she's teaching me that I already do know, then all of a sudden I get to grow. And I'll refer somebody like that on set 10 times over somebody who's like super skilled but is a little bit cocky.
I think you can learn by watching, but at the same time, the person I'm going to remember is the one that comes up and asks me a question.
Yes.
Now, understanding when a good time to ask a question is very important.
Don't bother the director.
Some
ever.
shoots that are just going. We've got to get through this. But if there's a lull or if there's some time, because not everyone's like constantly working 100%. Yeah, but someone that will come ask me a question, I'm going to remember you. If you want to learn, I will teach you.
Yes.
I love doing that. But if you're going to sit over there and just watch and not be an active participant and be ready to jump up and help out if you can, and only do something if you're called on.
That's good.
I say that because I recently saw it. There was some PAs we brought on, and they were trying to be helpful. They did what they were told, but if they weren't doing that, they were just sitting. Some of them even fell asleep.
Yeah, that's
so.
That's not good. Yeah, be helpful.
Yeah.
I think that, like you said, part of this whole thing is the whole conversation is making yourself not memorable, making yourself helpful, humble, and that becomes memorable. Yeah, it's like in asking questions. Sometimes, I mean, let's be honest, there are real jerks in the industry.
Confidence does not mean you're not humble.
No, faking it does not mean hiding your incompetency, because then you're at the expense of the entire project. Yeah. So, but yeah, like you said, I think there's I actually had a really cynical view towards this when I first came into this industry, because I was in the live production world, camera sets for sports events and things like that. I was on field at Clemson or whatever. And those guys, the older generation, the old cranky sports production guys, they're just, I don't want to be rude, but they're real jerks. Like, and I remember one time, one of them was treating me a certain way, and I just remember looking at him and thinking to myself, you're getting old and you're unhealthy. You'll be out of this industry in less than 15 years, and you will have nobody to take over your place. ESPN will be dying for people because you don't care to teach people like me. They want you to have it instantly with no experience, and they'll yell at you and they'll scream at you, and they're awful. And so I was just like, wait, you're going to lose everything. And I was really cynical coming in thinking there were just so many people in the industry that are real jerks, and they're around.
If I've actually got a sign up in my office right now that says if you know what you're doing, you're not learning anything or something like that. If you're getting a job that you're totally qualified for, then you're stagnant. You're not moving anywhere. Some people find their groove and they stick to it, and that, that's not a problem. It's just going along with the idea. If you want to keep moving forward, if you want to keep moving up, or growing, or even laterally or sideways. Tal was telling me he's doing lighting, but he's also interested in camera work. So now he's going to do some first AC work or training like that. So he's always putting himself in a position where he can constantly move somewhere or learn something new, even if it's just a slight little thing. I went to a lighting class last night through Film Bar. I know lighting pretty good. I'm not a gaffer at all. I like doing it, but that's not my skill set per se. But I still feel pretty knowledgeable. But even still, I learned some things from Trinity that I just never heard of. Like, so even going to something that you think you may be qualified for, you can still learn something.
Yeah, and if not, there's YouTube.
Yeah.
Which is what people are watching us, right? I learned so much off YouTube, it's stupid.
Yeah, but the ability to ask questions
Yes.
is a great asset.
It's true. Yeah. Well, and what I've noticed is, the other set I was ACing on, I was like, they said, this is the silliest thing, but they said, you're going to be the slate boy. And, in a pre-production meeting we had, and I was like, slate boy? It's the weirdest thing can I be the slate man? I don't know. Just I didn't like that. But I was like, okay, I mean, sure, that sounds great. Like, I love film. So just, despite the fact that I have a small media company, I don't care. I'll be the slate boy. I'll be the grip, whatever. Let's just have some fun. So I'm sitting there clacking. And because I was like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
That's the new technical term, is clacking the clipboard.
Clack. I'm a clack boy.
The clipboard? No.
Clipboard. Clackboard. So I Googled it, Turns out there's tons of videos on how to professionally use a clack. Yeah. Be the clack boy.
The set time code.
Yeah. But
tail slate.
Yeah. But what? Well, there wasn't time code in this.
Or the mini slate, if you've got an insert slate.
Yeah, and the practical one, little tiny things like if it's really close. We had a lot of close-ups. Is don't smack that sucker as hard as you flipping can right in front of the
soft sticks. Yeah.
Yeah. So little things like that, to say soft sticks or soft whatever.
MOS
is important, but I got on set only to find out that as much as I felt competent, because I watched a YouTube video, they did things differently on set. That AD wanted to run things a little differently. So now I've got to not be embarrassed in my current incompetence, but being willing to say, yes, ma'am, that's totally not what I learned from the professionals on YouTube, but it's what you want. And so, it's like every set's different. So you got to learn, you got to change.
So there's a term we've been avoiding, and that's imposter syndrome.
I don't quite understand it, so that's the only reason why I haven't said it. I don't know what your motive
imposter
is.
Syndrome is feeling like you're in a field that you don't belong because you're not
so that is
qualified.
What we were talking about. Okay, yeah.
Where everyone else is so much better than you. So I guess I could say I have some imposter syndrome, but it's also an interest-based thing. So I have met so many really talented people on different fields, and so I do in my business all the roles. If I need to, I can jump around, and I feel confident doing any of those roles. But you can't tell everyone, oh, I do everything, because whatever. But I've met some people that are really skilled at directing, really skilled at writing, really skilled at DP work, and so those are not the things I'm striving for. But at the same time, I do feel a little bit of imposter syndrome, thinking that I shouldn't do that because there's just someone more skilled than me at that.
And that's that risk, isn't it?
Yeah.
That risking it.
But I really do like producing.
Yeah.
So it's like, do I want to spend my time doing that anyways?
I love your hate relationship with producers. Sometimes you're like, I love producing. I want to produce your thing, and then you're like, this is so frustrating.
Don't ask me to produce your film, but I love doing it.
Yes, so funny. Well, I get it, because when you sent me that budget the other day for our short film, The Western we're looking at, I was like, I hate numbers. I hate all of this. I hate everything about it.
Can you get me financing? It's like, no.
Yeah.
Can't just pull it.
But that's that thing we're talking about. That guy was mentioning earlier, who was really successful, and he's got imposter syndrome too. So I was thinking about this morning. I'm like, what if that's okay to always have imposter syndrome? like you were saying, always being willing to work and learn.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a point where if it's crippling you, you know, you've got an issue. But like I've done this on accident my whole life as a musician, especially a little bit as a film guy, is I've surrounded myself always with people who are better than me. And that was because my dream has always been bigger than my capabilities, always. Mostly because I'm lazy. Like, I'm a great guitarist 20 years in. I know D2 are way better than me. I've been playing for 6 years. Why? Because they practice. But like, I surrounded myself with guitarists, drummers, bass players that were so good, they were way better than I was and way more experienced, and they could bring my vision to pass. But it at the expense of the fact that I always felt like crap. I still, I'm probably it's you know that world's a little bit subjective, but I would say on the worship team I'm part of right now, I'm probably the second best guitarist. I feel like I'm a terrible guitarist.
Yeah.
Like now, granted, that one guy who's better than me is 10. He's light years better than me. Maybe that's subjective, but at some point I gotta say, dude, you've been playing guitar for 20 years. Most people have never touched a guitar, and they're really impressed with your skill. And you got to be like, okay, I may be nowhere near where I want to be, but I'm still willing to take the risk. I'm still willing to move forward and get my butt on set. You know, get my butt on stage.
Which, I mean, that dedication to a particular craft, you can't do all the crafts. I mean, people want to be talented in every single aspect of their life, but how much time do you put into it? What wolf do you feed? Whatever kind of thing. You know that saying?
The white wolf.
So that's why you can pick a craft in filmmaking and just go deep dive into knowing everything about it, knowing the physics about light, knowing, you know, how the speaker works for if you're doing sound. Like, you're just recording, do you really care about how the speaker works? Well, yes, you have to learn how to, you know, if the speaker system will play it differently, or if the magnets are neodymium or whatever. Yeah. So it's like, do you really want to dive down deep into each of those fields, and how far do you want to take it? So I like that.
Yeah.
And then you'd start discovering yourself, because I didn't know. I thought I had to be a filmmaker. I had to be a DP, because that's the path I have to take. But when we started doing Film Bar and I'd pulling people together and people asked me recommendations and finding locations, I found that I really like doing that part of it. And so, just word to you guys out there: you don't have to be a director, a DP, or a writer. You can. There's so many other fields that you probably should, if you're not dug deep into a position, you should probably venture out to learn those other fields. One, it'll make you better at what you do already, but you may find something else that you actually click more with. I always wonder, you know, what if, you know, I never did drumming, but what if I was like a really super skilled drummer, just naturally? So, you know, what are those skills that we could have been so good at, but we just never tried?
Yeah. Well, that's that wedding video thing. It's like, I'd never done one before, but for some reason I just knew inside me, I'm gonna be good at that. Yeah. You're right. If you branch out, you might find. Yeah. And that's part of this whole thing getting started. Is like, you got to be willing. The faking it till you make it also means there's a humility piece to it. Like, if you're not willing to be a grip, if you're not willing to start out as a PA, if you're watching this and you're like, I want to be a DP, I want to be a, you know, whatever, and you're not, and you want to start out that way, good luck. I hope you fail. Because you don't have enough humility and you're going to be a jerk on set. You got to start out as a PA and then just watch people. Go get the friggin' coffee and watch the AD for the day. See how they do things. Watch the AC for the day. Watch the grip for the day. You know, just immersing yourself in the culture, and do it for free if you have to. And that's what I love about our community. You got people that are like, you got people from Hollywood, you know, that are sacrificing their time and gear to be on set for free.
Yeah. They just like doing it.
They just like doing it. It's crazy.
I have come to some notoriety locally.
So you're the godfather of Film Bar.
Well, but I like getting on those sets where no one knows me. I'm just like, I was on a set with some people from Charleston, and I was just PA. I still PA. Low rate. Well, decent rate for PA.
Which is low rate.
Yeah, low rate for me. But
for anybody, PA's low rate.
And none of them knew me. They didn't know my skill set. They didn't know who I knew. they knew I knew the producer. That's how I got onto it. But that was it. And it was a lot of fun just to be like, I am a very good, helpful, relational PA. And so I was able to help in any area if I needed to, and I had good communication skills, and that was fun to do.
I could see somebody like that who has your skill set, and it's a talent. Like your ability, your relationship thing, you know, like you said earlier, there's 1,400 people in Film Bar, online at least. There's a handful, 100 of us that are frequent showers uppers, you know?
That 300 out of 15.
I mean, it's a good bit of folks, which for Facebook is honestly an unbelievable miracle. But I don't mean this in any rude way. You don't have like award-winning massive film, whatever. Like you know.
No, I'm not the most.
No, you do have
skilled
a small media company
person in the group for sure.
You don't have the best skill or the best gear. You don't have but your
my superpower.
Your superpower is relationship and bridge building, and it has taken you to this place of notoriety that gets you on sets in Charleston. You know, and you've got your own funded short film, which looks super epic, and I can't wait to see it. You know, like that. That's all because you've taken relationships to be the primary, and not that everybody has to have that superpower, but if they take and learn that skill, then
also everyone owes you favors.
Yeah. I hate that stuff, but I've seen people do it and it works. But like I could see someone with your skills starting as a PA and becoming an AD.
Yeah.
Easy. Which is assistant director if you're new. A PA is a physician's assistant.
That's what my sister is.
Producer's assistant?
My production assistant. Yeah.
Production assistant. Yeah, you know, a PA is pretty much one of the lowest paid positions, because you could be a PA that literally just goes and gets coffee. But if you're a PA that's helping catch balls that are dropping and whatever, you could totally become. I could see an AD looking at you and be like, "You're second AD next time," you know. And then all of a sudden, someone is hiring you as AD, and so that relational piece is just gold. Humility, liking people. If you don't like people, this is not your industry.
Okay, fake it till you make it. I think we've broken that rule. It is the rule to go by, almost, in a sense.
I agree.
That's how you do this business.
That's true.
You got any last words you want to share?
Well, noticing you cut me off earlier because I was talking too.
Sorry.
No, that's totally you got me on a roll. There's so much more to talk about. No, I think that's it. Just be humble, love people, and be courageous.
We should get a gong for this set so that every time we say build relationships, make friends, build network, gong, gong, gong. I feel like we're just saying the same thing every podcast is all, you should find people.
I've got a one-liner that I told my wife this morning to end us out. What? It's people, and I'm serious about this. People care more about connection than they do being impressed by you.
Yeah.
And that'll get you on film sets. That doesn't mean suck at what you do, but it's not an excuse to be lazy.
I like it. Gong. Cool. Well, thank you guys for tuning into this podcast, episode 10, where you can fake it until you make it. And it's exactly what we're doing with this podcast. I've never done one before. We're just piecing it together with what we know and making it. Yeah. So, episode 10. Rocking on.
Peace out.
Thank you, guys. If you want to check out the show notes, you can go to indiefilmhub.org. You can also check them out below on the YouTube link if you want to see our faces. And it's probably too late because you've already listened to this whole thing on podcast, so you don't want to listen to it again. I should have said that in the beginning. Dang it. That's what I did. That's what I do wrong. Yes, we're on YouTube. Do you have your socials you want to share?
My name is Brian Fannin. I don't know if we did that. At Fannintastic, Fannin is my Instagram. Fanninmedia.com is my business. That's probably it.
Do you use at Fannin Media too, or
at Fannin Media? I do. At Fannin Media is another Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah, that's it. See you guys next one. Bye.